The Indian River County Chamber of Commerce does not endorse any political candidates. We provide these videos to our community and to our members to offer them the opportunity to be educated as we go into a busy political season.
Introducing Brenda Bradley, running for tax collector of Indian River County.
I'm originally from Kentucky. My family moved down at age 10. We moved down in 1974, and I graduated here, Vero Beach High School, 1982, 4A state champs, and have lived in this community my whole life, and really never wanted to leave, had a desire to leave. I went into banking, 22 years internal audit and operations at officer level. After leaving banking, going into the government sector, I worked for the tax collector's office 14 years. I was the chief of staff, the last 5 before leaving there in 2016. And upon leaving there, I took up a part-time position at Hope Imaging to help out in the office because I knew I had a desire to go back and run for tax collector. And when I began at Hope, it was part-time, and because of my professional executive level experience, I was able to step into the role when the administrator at that time took an immediate leave of absence in June of 22, and I became the administrator January of 2023. So when I took over, we were at 1.6 million, and we're quickly climbing, hitting past 4 million. We are a multi-million-dollar organization. We went from 13 employees to 36 employees, and we're still climbing. We went from a 2.6 Google review to, I believe, 4.9 right now. So it's all about customer service, patient care, and just giving back to the community in that level. Running for tax collector is something that I never really planned on doing. Working there, I know what's going on in the office, and I know what needs to be changed. So having to put myself out there, I'm not a professional politician. I am a professional businesswoman here in the community. And I always say you need to know Brenda, because if you don't know me, you could mistake my passion for harshness or anger, and that's not who I am. I care deeply, or I wouldn't be running. And for the record, yes, I do have a great job. It's not that I need this job that I'm running for. I want this job. I know that I am the person that can go in and right the ship. I can treat the employees with the dignity and respect that they deserve and the leadership that they need. It is time for a change. I've been in the community involvement. I'm a Rotarian. My civic duties, I am on the board of Treasure Coast Community Health. I'm on the board of Substance Awareness Center. I'm an officer in our Rotary Club, immediate past president. I'm the treasurer of the Roseland Women's Club. And I have accomplished many things. I am a certified Florida Tax Collector Assistant, certified. I attended the Executive Leadership Academy certification at Valencia College, and won 2 of the most rewarding compliments ever given for me for an achievement was to be the recipient of the Jeanette Becker Reel Award for Outstanding Dedication and Leadership, Volunteer Leadership with Republican Women, and the Florida Tax Collectors Association Distinguished Service of Excellent Award. I'm a very humble person, and I'm more of a giver than a receiver, so to be recognized for this, even a Woman of the Year nominee, again, I'm a behind-the-scenes gal that really wants to make a difference in our community, and that's why I'm running. The biggest challenge facing the tax collector's office is the employee turnover. It's the highest in the history of Indian River County. In the 15 years the incumbent's been in office, she came in office with a staff of 46. And when I left in 2016, I was employee number 61 that had left the office. That's a complete turnover. It's a government job, no nights, no weekends, air conditioning, retirement benefits. Why would these individuals be leaving? And to have that sort of turnover, when I ran in 2020, that number was up to 105. Here we are in 2024, and I will continue to run to bring light to what is going on behind the curtain in that office. We're up past 170 employees that have left. It takes about $8,000 per employee to hire an employee, train them, and when you're leaving, that's $1.4 million just in employee turnover alone, not to mention all the other wasteful spending that's been going on. One thing the community needs to think about is when an employee gets hired at the tax collector's office, they do not come with any experience of that office unless they come from another county and get hired on from that position in the county they came from. So everything has to be trained. So when an individual starts learning from day one, 3 months, that's institutional knowledge if they leave that goes right out the door. And what's more concerning is this position, frontline clerk, is a train the trainer. So once that individual learns, they become valuable, and then when the next one gets hired, they can help train that individual. Yes, there's training and management and all of that, but that buddy system on that front line is what's necessary. And when the employee turnover is so high that they're leaving, that institutional knowledge is going out the door. And what's scarier is that your confidential information is being entrusted in these newbies, and if they're not staying, it's the revolving door. That's how the mistakes get made. That's how bad things happen. Employee retention is #1 priority, and I will fix that by hiring an HR professional. There's never been one on staff in the 15 years this incumbent has been in office. Now, she touted recently that, they use the HR for the county. I researched that because I can assure you when I worked there, we were never allowed to go outside of the office. What stays in the office or what goes on in the office never leaves the office. So I reached out to several employees. They had no idea they had any ability to go outside of that office to HR because there are grievances, but they're too afraid to come forward. I really believe if an HR professional is on staff, the salary ranges will be in place. We have an executive assistant making $112,500 annually, and 6 years has received over $65,000 in increases, and your frontline clerk starts at $15 an hour. You have the nepotism, cronyism hiring, and the budget amendments increasing. We just did a budget amendment for another high salary position for $54,080 for a quality assurance manager. The position was never posted. There's nothing with teamwork being developed in that office, and that's what's got to change. And once we change that, the employees will want to stay, the employees will retire there, and that's my goal. My vision, and I'm just going to be very specific on this because my vision is about my top 10 priorities. So #1 is to open the offices, no more appointments only. There's more efficient ways of doing this, and what it's costing by losing revenue, granted in time we pick it up because that's the only place that you can go for the business that you need. But we've already spent $106,563 on a queuing system, and we can't even fill the offices. So opening the offices, we will still have an appointment ability to where the individuals that want to come for an appointment, we will do a compromise. We will compromise with the community to make it convenient for everyone. No more closing the offices for lunch hours. There's a better way to do that as well. This is your time to be in these offices, not for the convenience of administrative staffing and scheduling. Hire the administrative professional immediately. I spoke about that already. Reestablish salaries ranges to allow for personal growth. We have senior management individuals that have been on the payroll 4 years or less and have received anywhere from $30,000 to $60,000 increases because they got bumped up to another position. That cannot happen. That is not allowing that individual to have personal growth. What are we going to be paying that individual in 4 years? I mean, the tax collector's position, the salary is mandated by the state. That's at $159, and you already have an individual making $112. There's something wrong. This is a government office, and let me go back to explain what a lot of folks don't know is the tax collector's office is an independent agency. It's a fee vessel for the state office. The governor is the only one that has the oversight to this office and is the only one that can do anything with the incumbent in office. The budget is approved by the Department of Revenue, not local. So no local county commission or any other agency in this county can touch this elected official. So there is no local oversight. That's why there's so much wasteful spending. That's why the employee turnover is so high. And these are the things that need to be brought out in public and changed. I've held town halls. I've begged the incumbent to debate me. She refuses. And my frustration, and this goes back to you need to know Brenda, and my passion is not anger. My passion and my voice and my tone changes because I'm so frustrated that the local media, the local press, is aware of all of this wasteful spending, everything that I have put out on my website, the town halls that I've held, all of the information comes from public records from the tax collector's office. And it's mind-blowing. It's an eye-opener. And I begged the incumbent to debate. She refuses. I held two town halls. I held a personal seat for her up front, asking her to attend, because she has some tough questions to answer to the voters. They have a right to know. And she refuses. And the local press is aware of everything I've put out there. I've reached out to them to please be fair. Ask her to answer the questions. In the TC Palm editorial, I asked her at the end, please respond to the questions. And it does not happen. And that is not fair to the voters. We have a right to know the answers to these tough questions about the high turnover, about the spending, about the beach office that's nicknamed the Country Club. We need to know, and my frustration is local press has been crickets through this entire campaign. I've been shunned from debates and forums. All the other races got them but me. And again, I don't need this job. I want this job because I have the ethics, the integrity, and the moral courage to stand up against a bully and make a difference in this community and bring the public trust that needs to be restored in this office. And these employees deserve better. They are terrified to speak out. And the last time I ran, several of them got fired. And well, let's not say fired, they were pushed out. And if any of one of those could talk freely today that are still there, believe me, it would be an eye-opener, the stories that they share. But I am about the change. So I say again, I want this office, I don't need it. The budget amendments that continue to increase, every time the budget is approved, immediately following that, there's been another huge budget amendment for the last 4 years. The budget has went up and up and up. And I want to be very fair, very clear. Anything that I state here today is on my website, votebrendaBradley.net. And all of my public records are there to see. I have nothing to hide, and I am not going to inflate numbers or exaggerate. But I can tell you that the operating in 2021, the operating budget was $1.15 million. 2024, it's increased $290,000. The personnel budget, $3,879,000 in 2021. 2024, $5,360,000. That's a $1.481 million increase in personnel alone. And to top that off, senior management senior management increases are increasing double what the frontline clerks are. And there's just an imbalance. We need to go back to merit-based increases and giving a promotion based on your skill sets and your ability to do the job, not for the nepotism and the cronyism that's going on. It has to stop. The beach office that's nicknamed the Country Club, the rent was $36,126 in 2021. In 2024, the rent has gone up to $52,147. That's a 44% increase in 3 years. For what? It's nicknamed the Country Club. They have an average 5 to 7 customers a day. Sometimes it might be 3 a day. And we all say, if you need an appointment, go over to the Country Club, sneak in. They'll get you in with no appointment needed. But it's not a full service office. The kids tag art program, I could have a whole interview just on that. I can tell you I did receive a couple of records recently, and I can tell you The math is very fuzzy. It does not match what one page says to the other. And it's now been stated that $105,000 has been raised for kids' tag art since inception. And the incumbent just touted they've given back $27,900 since inception. Where's the rest of the money, and why can't we get the records? Whether you're protected by a 501c3 IRS rule or not, you are a government elected official in this county, and transparency is everything. And to refuse to give the records because you're protected by that, a public officer cannot be exempt developing a private entity and running it out of that office. The money is not adding up to the paper that's been provided, so there'll be more research on that. And why do we have a 501c3 in a government office? Are we accounting for all the employees that are being used to run the 501c3? We don't know because there's no transparency. Come clean with this. We've got to have that. And I assure you, as your next elected official, within 24 to 48 hours tops, any public record requested will be turned around and will be provided. Clear transparency. I touched on stop the revolving door of employee turnover. I'll eliminate a $30,000 advertising budget. Why are we advertising for a local county office? It's all about self-promoting and political branding, and it has to stop. And the nepotism comes into this because not only are we using $30,000 of taxpayer money, the $112,000 executive assistant's daughter owns the company that's getting the $30,000 annually. Nothing against the company, good for them. But as the elected official, the incumbent, everything I touch on falls back on her shoulders and her responsibility. She should know better. Why would she put these individuals, these particular employees that get these great huge bonuses? You have a 38-year retired employee that leaves at $99,000. 6 months later, a new position is created and you bring her back at $100,000. And then 10 months later, you increase her to $104,000. And then a little over a year later, she's making $109,000. And the person that replaced her in the tax director position was the facilities individual that was hired at $36,000. He gets promoted to the tax director position, and within a year and a half, 2 years, he's making $86,000. So we're paying for that tax director, and now we have this other high salary position. What about that frontline clerk that can barely put food on their table, probably has to have a second job to pay for daycare? It's got to balance out. It's time that we hold the elected official accountable for the wasteful spending and all of the stuff that's going on behind this curtain, folks. Please, whether I win or not, and I'm going to win, I know I've got the momentum. I know I've got the people's voice. I've got their back. I am about community service. I am that gal that will fix this mess. I'm not a professional politician. I'm not going to talk that way nor act that way. I am a servant of this community with a massive servant's heart that wants to right this ship. And this is the last time I will run, because I have given 7 years, 8 years of my life and what my family's been through and what this community that has supported me been through. Only be disappointed that a career politician gets elected once again. This is the time, folks. Please wake up. Make your vote count. I'll immediately cut the budget easily. $400,000 probably within the first year, easily, no brainer. I know where the fluff's at. No unnecessary travel to Tallahassee, no car allowances, no frivolous subscriptions for personal wants. Why are we paying for Sirius XM radio for the incumbent? Why are we paying for Orlando Sentinel, Tallahassee Democrat? That does nothing for Indian River County. Bring it back home and keep it local. And I will lastly immediately stop the political branding for personal gain. There will never be anything other than my business card that will have my name bared on any paper, stationery, no stenciling of the door, no stamps. It will all return to Indian River County Tax Collector. This is going to cost you, the voter, $40,000 the day I take office, because everything that bears the incumbent's name has to go in the dumpster. It should have never been that way. So when I leave, the only thing that will need to be replaced is on the website, anything that's electronic that can be digitally typed over. My name will go on that, but once I leave, it will cost you nothing for the next tax collector to step into office and run the ship. So you have my word, I will fix this mess. The employees will want to stay. We will have longevity. We will have employees retiring there again, and it will be ready. The last thing is, I do believe in self-imposed term limits. 3 terms, 12 years is more than enough to get this job done. If no one steps up by then, and if I'm still able to do it, I would consider it, but I have no desire past 12 years. That's long enough. So I ask for your vote. It's an open primary on August the 20th. You did not have to change your party affiliation, whether you're a Democrat, and that's another thing. Let me touch on that. I do believe I do have the Democrat support in this community. They did their homework. They have no other candidate to vote for except for the 2 Republicans running. So it makes sense. Do your homework and get the best out of the 2. So I will gladly take the Democrat support. I will take an MPA support, and I would hope to have the support of the Republican Party that I have served my whole life and have never wavered from. But August 20th, open primary, I am here to serve the people, not a political party, and I will never become a political machine. Thank you.